Your host, Bill Noble. Bitcoin 42K, anyone? Watch out for Bitcoin or crypto around Thanksgiving. Best time to have a live stream on red days or back-to-back red days as crypto struggles. When to buy the dip, how to focus on dips, what chart time frames to look at, right? Okay, in other words, how to look at the market. That is what we will be covering today, right? To give you a really good framework and roadmap between now and say December 10th, because there's money to be made. All right. Richard Barry is here. Reverend Flashback. James, welcome. Willimeter first on the stream. Appreciate your business. Routine Cheese, right? Well, you're welcome, right? Aiken. Sydney Oss, welcome. Greetings from Germany. Okay. Now, a brief Thanksgiving note. First of all, I'm going to probably be saying this all week long. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everybody who watches this show. I want to extend gratitude to the now 75 Patreon customers, right? I have Patreon that is priced $1 less than Twitter Premium. So $15 a month, you get special access, all coin picks, etc. I want to thank all those customers for their business, right? And I wouldn't have that business if it wasn't for the people who watched YouTube, TikTok, right, and Twitter. So you have my gratitude, right? Mark is here. Matt, looking for an update on Galaxy Digital. I've got that. Got it. Okay, let's get it. News. Plenty of news. Some of it doesn't sound relevant to crypto, but it could be. Okay, let's start with these guys. Wow, artificial intelligence, huh? Major drama. Now, let's talk about this. The majority of OpenAI staff threaten to quit unless Sam Altman is reinstated. So in case you haven't figured this out or heard about it, you probably heard about it, but you haven't figured it out. OpenAI CEO came out with like a ChatGPT store, which put a lot of startups out of business and actually put, investments that the board had of OpenAI in jeopardy. There's also rumor that this guy had artificial general intelligence, which I wouldn't be surprised that he did. All right. Now, by getting rid of Sam Altman, Sam goes to Microsoft. Microsoft probably is going to take half of OpenAI with them, and OpenAI could go the way of Netscape did early in the internet, right? As you know, I don't know how that survives. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But ironically, all this drama in the AI space is interesting because normally the drama is in crypto. This time the drama is in big cap tech. Meanwhile, we can rally the market while they're distracted on other things. Okay, a word on groupthink. Okay, Iran did not want the current conflict in the Middle East to spread, which is unbelievable because, it looked like some sort of world conflict was imminent. So much for that. This is now you start getting very relevant to crypto. Falling fuel prices and airfares bring relief in advance of Thanksgiving. So looky about this. Okay. All of a sudden, gasoline goes down like $1 from its high, and half the population is on Ozempic, the weight loss drug. So all of a sudden, a consumer that, is kind of hosed, but all of a sudden it's got a little free cash flow. Looky, right? Less money on food, less money on gas equals free cash flow equals a bid in Coinbase, right? Yesterday was a big FOMO day. Today's probably a correction, right? November 21st, but the U.S. consumer has got some money. Retail's got a little bit of money to come back into crypto. And we know that the institutionals, we know that the institutions are absolutely coming. Okay, good morning to Rugby Performance Lab, Big Rich, T-Bone, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Now, Microsoft seems to now control the world again. Okay. Sam will be joining Microsoft to lead a new advanced AI research team. Microsoft pretty much controlled the world when they were running the Windows operating system when the PC first came out. And now, you know, OpenAI, you're going to have a further concentration of power in the hands of players like Microsoft. Now, if Microsoft controls, if one group of people controls the development of artificial general intelligence, the need for a decentralized world, money, Web3, and even the AI coins, right? Somebody in a comment on Twitter brought up something that I brought a certain coin to your attention at 40, and it's now at 160. There are decentralized plays in the world. And this, in my mind, reinforces the need for decentralized Web3. Okay. Raj is here. Silas, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mark, enjoying a day off. Okay. U.S. foreign assistance. So each one of these dots represents money, tax dollars from the United States starting in 2001 flowing into other countries. Gen Z is getting disillusioned with the current administration, meaning people on the left are not happy with the left. And I think it's going to be a lot easier to convince people. Like, I think my generation gets we need Bitcoin because that's who BlackRock is probably catering to. And I think young people are going to pick up on this because I have seen pictures of young people on TV, right? They're sick of our tax dollars going to other places, you know, to fund like a war machine that potentially hurts other people. So this disillusionment, this social mood that I thought was going to be reflected in equities is potentially being, you know, reflective in positive crypto price action. Higher interest rates are shattering the housing dream around the world. Okay, so this is a crypto show, so I don't know if I need to comment directly on this, but there is a lot of disaster analysis in the media about housing. You know, long-term rates may stay higher, but housing prices need to go down. Commercial real estate is being sold as we speak. Some of the buildings are being sold for 30 cents on the dollar, and residential real estate may not be far behind. But Kool-Aid or not, if you're going to afford a house, you're going to have to invest. And if there's a crypto up cycle, you better be in on it. Otherwise, you ain't going to be able to afford a house. You may not be able to afford anything. You know, I saw something on Twitter that was very telling where some guy was like, you know, stop paying the credit cards, let the bills go to collections, you know, move into a cheaper apartment and get your money into this market. Now, of course, that's when altcoins were screaming, but, you know, that's a very telling point, especially coming from people who have seen multiple cycles, right? Because when the cycle starts, that's when you got to get in early. That's why, you know, the Bitcoin ordinals market, right? Or any like, you know, BRC20 token trading on Bitcoin. It almost looks like, you know, Solana meme coins mooning. It looks just like 2020. The stuff that was hard to buy is the stuff that moons the hardest. And if you're not in on it, guess what? No house for you. No house for me. Okay. Bond managers of $2.4 trillion make case for leaving cash behind. So all of a sudden, bonds are a great buy. Ironically, you know, Barron's actually had the low. Who knows? The media actually picked the bottom. I don't think I would have believed that, but it's kind of funny that people missed the bottom in bonds. They were all capitulating in stocks looking for world war. Can macro hedge funds afford to miss the crypto uptrade? The answer is heck no. Heck no. $2.5 trillion offsides, meaning they were caught sitting in cash when bonds rallied, and bonds rallied hard. Okay. Look at this. Look at this. Right? I mean, the SEC has gotten billions out of places like Goldman Sachs, but they're looking for $4 billion from Binance. Now, I knew Binance was going to pay a fee and go away, and SEC was going to go away, but wow, $4 billion? Jesus. I mean, these guys are still unhinged, but they can't stop crypto. They just can't. They're still trying. I mean, we'll get to the Kraken lawsuit in a minute. Okay. Now, just as a reminder, okay, just as a reminder of not only what the SEC is trying to do to you, but what big players are trying to do to you, right? Elon Musk, sues Media Matters as advertisers, as Apple, NBC, all these big players are fleeing because allegedly a certain type of political comment was, attached to ads of that company, right? And whoever told everybody that is now facing the wrath of Musk. Now, what's the point? The point is, I think they would take everything away from you if they could. They take free speech away from you. They take the ability to defend yourself away from you. They would eliminate cash. I mean, we're not made up stuff here. This is like really happening. They would tell you have to eat bugs because meat is bad or whatever, right? In other words, around every corner is someone trying to take your freedom away. And there's no better place to find that freedom than in crypto. And people are going to start figuring this out like now. Like the president of Argentina has figured it out, right? Supercharged the nation's use of crypto. People are absolutely sick of what's going on here. And I like this too. I've said this. Will AI use crypto? AI is going to look at, one day at fiat currencies or even in transaction in the metaverse. And AI is going to be like, I'm not using fiat. I'm going to want to use a privacy coin so nobody knows it's AI trading. Honestly. Okay, here's the Solana meme coin. So 1,700% in 30 days, Solana meme coin. The thinking in crypto is that the stuff that no one is buying or no one is doing or that's hard to buy, in other words, if you use the MetaMask and you got to get over to Solana and start trading over there, guess what? That's the stuff that's going to go up the most. And I am trying to get up to speed on all this stuff, like with all available speed. Because, the major rally may occur in new stuff that comes out on other chains other than ETH. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea that Bitcoin, which is funny, is that Bitcoin could wind up being the smart contract platform that actually hurts ETH is borderline hysterical. Now, that sucks for an ETH maximalist like me, right? Or at least a big fan of ETH, but all of these different platforms are going to be able to take a bite. They're going to bite into Ethereum. They are. Okay. Here's the thing about the Twitter ads. Okay. Ubisoft, IBM, Apple, Disney, Warner Brothers. I mean, what did they say on this platform? Like, everybody is leaving. Why? Right? Because they don't want you to have free speech. That's why. Now, back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin stalls below 38K as analyst hints that the Notorious B.I.D is back. Okay, kind of like that little Notorious Bill action translating into Bitcoin, Notorious B.I.D. They're not wrong, right? Retail may have FOMO'd in at the top, and institutions are going to wash them out and then take it up over Thanksgiving when everybody's asleep. Now, here is another interesting thing about bull markets and bear markets. Ironically, one of the things that gets a bull market to take off is that nobody's got any money to get in. The market leaves without everybody because everybody's all busted up. And then there's layoffs still going on at layer 2 blockchains like Avalanche. So ironically, sometimes the crypto industry is in the worst shape and has to do layoffs and stuff like that before, as the bull market is happening. Like the end of the bear market really doesn't end until the trade upwards has to begun. Expect crypto companies to fail before the halving. Sad but true. Sad but true. Okay. Argentinian president. Crypto exchange going out of business. Okay. Jim Cramer, who said Bitcoin's going to crash. Okay. Barry Silver's crypto empire continues to spiral. It sounds really negative, but CoinDesk has been acquired. CoinDesk actually does a very good job with Consensus, which is a crypto conference. A lot of people are going to be looking for crypto information. A lot of people are going to be looking for credible news. Now look at this. They're suing the Canadian company over failure to register. Like, how many law firms can they take on? Don't you think that these law firms, these crypto exchanges are going to fight these guys? And they just continue to lose in the court day after day after day. Seriously. Now, here's the Ozempic headline. Behold the Ozempic impact on business. And I would argue, behold the Ozempic impact on crypto. You're going to hear at some point that the consumer is going to take the savings from gas and the savings on food, which Walmart has noted is happening. It's happening. And people are going to put money in crypto. They're just going to FOMO in. Okay, now after the close today, so this is November 21st, right? 9:30 Eastern time. NVIDIA earnings are out tonight. Okay, so NVIDIA has been doing really well. Obviously, it was the marquee leader. We'll go into what's happened with big tech stocks, okay, recently. The FOMO over NVIDIA, the FOMO over hardware as it relates to AI. Don't people realize that when the internet came out, everybody bought Cisco and Dell? They all bought hardware companies. Meanwhile, the monetization of the internet was software and apps. Now, that occurred many years later. That's not going to happen this time because Web3 is already like in existence and ready to go and is colossally undervalued versus AI, versus whatever they've done in the equity market as it relates to AI. Matter of fact, they got drama over there. And we got upside. We got price action. Okay. So that's the news, right? That's the news. Now let's go to PowerPoint and we'll jump into some live TA. Okay. Hang on one second. Okay, I'm back. All right, let's get into the PowerPoint because there's a lot of meaningful stuff in PowerPoint. And I'm going to basically tell you how I'm looking at the market, which is a gamble in some ways, but it's the way I'm doing it, right? A lot of times TA is a game of experiments, a game of experiments. So to keep it brief, I'm looking at tactical charts like 90 minutes. And then I'm not paying as much attention to 4-hour and daily. And I'm looking more at especially weekly charts in crypto. So I think you're using 90-minute charts to find tactical buy and sell points to be able to take advantage of signals that are on weekly and monthly charts. Now let's start with foreign exchange. One of the big themes for 2024 is crypto is a part of the foreign exchange and currency markets, like real deal. Crypto last year in 2023 or this year was hurt by the tightening cycle, which dragged down legacy. So, everybody had to pay the price for the tightening cycle. Now that the tightening cycle is over, the dollar is free to go down and Bitcoin is set to benefit. So, look at this. UUP is an ETF. It's kind of like a tradable DXY in the equity market. 13 top last month, and huge confirmation of the 13 top with a smackdown on the dollar this month. Weekly chart, UUP. Here was the 9 top back in October, big down move. Here was the 9 top this time around, right, in October, big down move incoming. Right? Andre is here. Welcome. Bubba Smith. Live it. Welcome. The dollar is done. The dollar is done. And even if the dollar doesn't go down like right this second, people are going to start pricing that in. And the way they're going to price it in, crypto. Because gold didn't do much. Right? It seems like the only mechanism for price discovery in the world is crypto. Right? Here are all the panic dollar buyers up here off the geopolitical situation, and boom, they're just all caught. The dollar index has not been able to sustain itself above 106. And everybody was caught buying dollars because, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And boom, they're all trapped. And if this thing falls below 103, there's no bid because it went straight up. And very simply, it can go straight down. Speed, magnitude, and direction. Technical analysis, high school physics. What goes up one way can go down exactly the same way. This dollar is vertical to the downside and going to wind up below 100 in the near future. Now, let's look at, the plants that they're smoking over in stock world. So, everybody was afraid that the world was going to come to an end. That did not happen. And then they took NDX, which is NASDAQ 100, which is the index that QQQ follows, and just got emotional. This is the Magnificent Seven taking the market higher, and who knows what they do if NVIDIA exceeds earnings tonight. I don't know. Maybe there's a reality check there, or as one person I was talking to said, there was a huge blow off top in equities in the first quarter of 2000. And this, on all these green candles, man, this feels really, really emotional. Now, of course, that would be awesome for Bitcoin. Like, a stock market top, I don't know. Maybe that puts a damper on Bitcoin, maybe not. But if the equity market goes into some kind of insane FOMO mode, well, that's good for risk assets, which is good for crypto. Okay. Zach Blackstone says, so what changed if legacy will crash and crypto won't? Okay. Well, I think what's going on is people are just realizing that legacy is fake, or you're not going to get any price action or benefit out of legacy outside the Magnificent Seven. And that rally is in the 8th inning if you look at American baseball, whereas crypto is in the 1st or 2nd inning, right? In other words, whatever they're doing is late stage. If there's a top in risk assets around the Bitcoin halving, in other words, if they price everything into the halving, right, that's when you have to worry about a correction in crypto, because that may be when you have to worry about a correction in equities. Okay, Crypto Crazy noting that DXY has lost the 200-day moving average, right, on the daily chart. Yeah, dollar is done. Okay, let's go to Bitcoin. Now, some important levels. 35,000 is the 38% retracement of the entire down move. I had some concern prior to the breakout that Bitcoin was going to experience resistance there. And they were like, oh, no, you know what? Let's take it up to 38. Now, if Bitcoin is able to hold above 35.5, to me, that's giga bullish. If Bitcoin comes down below 35.5 and stays there, then you may have this idea about trapped buyers. I don't think that's the case because I don't think any institution is going into 2024 not long crypto. In other words, there is pressure for people to show that they've owned crypto throughout this year. And they can't afford to miss any more upside. So if Bitcoin takes off and goes to 42 and they don't own it, they could lose funding or be out of business because people are like, you're an idiot for missing this. And the idiot line is 35.5, right? If it's below 35.5 and it's weak, then, you know, everybody bought the top. But if not, you know, if Bitcoin is supportive here, then, you know, you could be talking much higher prices. Bull Runner is here. Welcome. Okay, continuing on this Bitcoin theme. Bitcoin on a weekly chart. Okay, so you had the 9 top. Tom DeMark was the original quant technical analyst. You have a 9 top, which means each one of these numbers is a set of conditions, like the high is higher than the high 2 days ago, something like that, right? And when you have this, normally you see this big 9. When you get 9s and 13s, you know, you can get reversals in trends. Now, in a range, a 9 is a reversal. In a trend, a 9 is a pause. So the next candle, which is right here, should be a dip, hard, and in this case, it comes right back. I don't know that it gets any more bullish than that. I mean, a lot of times it'll go down, stay down, and then slowly recover. This is like, oh, I got to have it right now. This is Bitcoin weekly. You could have 13. If this really is based just a pure DeMark theory, you could have 10 more up weeks in Bitcoin. Up to 10 more up weeks. That to me feels like I said, if you're an institution, right? Like in crypto and retail, it's like, oh, it's going up. It's amazing. Lampshade on my head. It's just terrific. But if you're an institution, man, that can create real stress. Because if you're sitting on cash, you better get it invested. And this market moved really fast. I mean, this market in 1, 2, 3 weeks may have left a lot of people wondering, oh, well, I'm going to wait and buy a dip to 20. You may not get a dip to 20 or whatever until it goes to 42 first because they got to be invested. Now, ETH. So ETH hasn't done anything because everybody thinks that, you know, all these products are going to kill ETH. That may or may not be the case. But ETH is above support at 1950. It's retested it successfully, and now you have a stalemate and the possibility of 3 more up weeks in ETH. And I actually think if Bitcoin takes off for 42, ETH could take off with it and possibly outperform. Means Nada is welcome. Welcome. Bart from Amsterdam. Hi. Okay, now Bitcoin on a 90-minute chart. So, of course, this won't be relevant, you know, 7 days from now. But what will be relevant is around Thanksgiving, did you get a bottom in Bitcoin? Did you get a tactical bottom either today on the 21st or at some point near Thanksgiving, which is 3 days from now? Will you get that bottom? If you look at short-term charts, 90-minute, 89-minute, you know, maybe 4 hour. I don't know. I'm experimenting with 90 minutes. But if you get that bottom, right? If you get that bottom, that means they're after it. They're after it again. And if they're after it again and it pops up and they miss it, they're going to chase it. Not because they want to, because they have to. Now, MicroStrategy, speaking of chasing, now that'll probably come off today, but this thing was bid yesterday with Bitcoin down. MicroStrategy is the de facto Bitcoin ETF. You do not need Gensler to approve MicroStrategy. I mean, this could go to 1,000. It's at 500 now. There's support at 447. It broke it. It retested it. It came back, and it was bid yesterday. MicroStrategy is the spot Bitcoin ETF. And when they figure this out in legacy, because you got to remember, there's stock portfolio managers that are like, gee, how do I get exposure to Bitcoin? Gee, can we buy the Bitcoin ETF? I don't know if our rules allow that. But they can buy the stock of a computer company that owns a ton of Bitcoin. So if you think, and of course, there's also a fact, which I keep pounding the table on, that the only way the BlackRocks, the Cathie Woods, all these players are going to get the Bitcoin to run a spot ETF is to start taking over companies that own Bitcoin. That's miners, MicroStrategy, and possibly even Coinbase. They got to buy the entities that own Bitcoin. And then things like Hut Mining, Marathon, all these mining stocks have gotten destroyed. But MicroStrategy doing well. MicroStrategy has served me well, right? It's, even when legacy was bearish, MicroStrategy was trading like a champion. Now, let's talk more about Bitcoin dominance. So this is a weekly chart of Bitcoin dominance. As you can see, there's a trend line here that Bitcoin dominance has been slowly riding higher. Bitcoin dominance has resistance at 57%. That's where the Celsius avalanche started from. Now, speaking of the Celsius avalanche, Chainlink, right? Couple other altcoins have unwound the damage from Celsius, right? Celsius is when the whole system-wide margin call happened. It started with Celsius. It ended with FTX. That's all been unwound. And, that doesn't make crypto expensive. It's like, oh, you had a margin call, the market sat dead. Now you're back where the margin call started from. It's like a reset. So actually, I stand corrected. This actually goes all the way back to 2021, this Bitcoin dominance reading. So again, there are coins in the altcoin universe that will attack that 2022 level. And Bitcoin has no resistance. So here is the point I was trying to make. This drop in Bitcoin dominance was vertical. Vertical. It could be vertical on the way back up again. Like if Bitcoin dominance just sits here at 52, it's just waiting to go to 57. Okay, total 2. So here's kind of like the ETH trade. Total 2 is total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin. And what you're going to notice is total 2 is sitting up here near resistance. Right? From September of last year, it's consolidating at resistance. It's not backing off, which I consider somewhat constructive. Now, let's talk about momentum. Let's talk about the work of Bill Williams and his alligator moving average system. Now, the alligator is a set of 3 moving averages, short-term, medium-term, long-term, to be brief, all put into a math formula. Now, when you see the alligator's mouth start to open up like this on the total 2 weekly chart, okay, this means that a major momentum trade is about to begin. I can go through during the live TA section, hopefully, okay, and say, every time you see something like this, it's takeoff time. And this could be takeoff time in total 2, which means ETH. And all these big layer 1s along with it. In other words, we couldn't reprice legacy, so we have to reprice crypto, right? We couldn't reprice, say the dollar fast enough, so we got to reprice Web3. This shows they could reprice Web3. Okay, now let's talk about some stuff in Solana. So this clearly looks like a head and shoulders top on the 4-hour chart. And to be honest, some of the most bullish things that can happen, okay, are when a topping pattern is invalidated. So if Solana starts ripping again, goes above 58, invalidates the head and shoulders pattern, then you're on your way to 80 or 100. Now, if Solana slumps or Solana starts underperforming and the bid goes into Bitcoin, then Solana is probably going to correct more than anyone thinks. I think it's wait and see, but if Solana takes out 58, it's Katie bar the door because, again, they will have missed the dip. Solana on a 90-minute chart. Again, no shelf life on this, but if you're looking at this, you know, a week from now or 3 days from now, if Solana is above 56, it's probably okay. If it's below 56, it's probably not because they've wicked it down here a couple times and they really haven't been able to take it through. So this goes back, you know, if 56 holds and they bounce to 58, they could invalidate the head and shoulders top. We'll see. Right? My inclination right now is not to fade Solana, is to buy dips until it doesn't work anymore. Maybe you wait for it to go above 58 because of that head and shoulders pattern, but you know, nobody can miss another rally in Solana. That's all I'm saying. They can't miss it. So if it rally starts, it's going to like snowball. And I think that's a theme that I'm talking about across all of crypto. Okay, back to total 2. Okay, at resistance, not budging, not budging. Okay, Coinbase. Okay, may correct. 103 is a key level, but look at this alligator, right? Mouth wide open. You haven't seen anything like that in Coinbase. Maybe you saw it over here and there is a fake out. This feels like the real deal because you're bursting through hidden pivot levels. If Coinbase is above 103, it could go to 137. And if there's a dip, again, what are institutions going to do on the dip? Galaxy, somebody asking for Galaxy, right? May of 2022, Galaxy was at 13. This is without a doubt, well, there's always a doubt, but you know, this to me looks like a Livermore accumulation cone. Jesse Livermore was a technical analyst from back in the early 20th century, and this looks like something that can go a lot higher because these type of upward sloping consolidations, right, they can lead to big spikes. I mean, Galaxy's rallied, but, you know, Galaxy is still inside its bear market range. I mean, Galaxy owns and facilitates the purchase of Web3 and Bitcoin. Like all these players, they got to buy Bitcoin. Who are they going to call to get it? They're going to call the over-the-counter desk at Galaxy. It's basically like the Goldman Sachs of crypto. Now, okay, so this right here from our Patreon group, you know, we're going to be making some changes here, but this was our portfolio, right? We were looking at HBAR and Algorand up here as value plays, Polkadot and Cosmos interoperability, Litecoin, Zcash privacy, right? Near and Phantom layer 1, right? And ICP is almost like a computing AI play. Okay, we're going to want to add stuff to this and probably want to put a bunch of Bitcoin in there as well. Now, Kaspa. So I have not covered this much, all right? But when you have these alligators, right? See how this alligator opened up down here and then this thing just smoked higher. Now, in Kaspa's case, Kaspa went up so much, it kind of ran away from the moving averages. And this may have to correct. Now, if it doesn't correct, oh my God. But if it does correct, it's kind of normal. It's perfectly normal to see this thing go down to 10 cents if retail FOMO'd in at the top. In other words, this green candle, green candle, green candle, if retail was FOMOing in at the top, they may run stops before this thing turns around and can go back up again. Okay. And that is the market update. All right. Ontario, Southern California, welcome. Rung again is here. Megan is here. Hello. Donato. Okay. Okay. Somebody says, Donato says, is an IPO on XRP going to be bullish? Other influencers are back and forth. Folks, here's the sad but true fact of the matter about XRP. I know a guy in the institutional world who doesn't like XRP because his claim is Ripple has been dumping XRP on retail this whole time as a way to fund itself. So if Ripple IPOs and has another way to fund itself, they can stop dumping XRP on retail. And XRP is free to trade as a fast form of money. That's sort of my view. But the sad but true fact of the matter is, you've been getting dumped on by Ripple, which is why that coin does not perform. That seems to be the case, right? Okay, just as a reminder, okay, this show is brought to you by my Patreon group. Okay, it's under the Unhinged Crypto corporate umbrella. So patreon.com/unhinged crypto. I'm charging $1 less than Twitter Premium. Okay, now coming back and doing some live TA. Okay, let's go to Alligator. Okay, so here's Bitcoin on Alligator. Maybe we can do this. Now, when you look closely over here, right, when these alligators open up, right, like all three, the alligator's mouth is open. In Bitcoin's case, they had one final rally before the trend smoked. Okay, here's the alligator opening up back in 2019, right? Here's your alligator mouth opening up. Here it is opening up again, right before the major parabolic started. If you look at weekly charts, you can see everywhere these alligator moving averages. Right now, in some cases, like Algorand, just as an example. Okay, now Algorand may not be the best performing thing. Maybe we got too cute with this, but just as a point of information, some of these altcoins have got open alligator mouths. Some of them don't, which could mean they got room to run. It could also mean that, if they couldn't figure it out now, they won't be able to figure it out. Okay. So, I think that that's something to keep an eye on because it's a MOMO market. It's a momentum market. So, Algorand did open up on the daily chart right here. Right. So you didn't get the weekly burst, but, as soon as this thing opened up, it just went. Right. Near. I bet Near is the same way. Right. Near, the alligator opened up and it was off to the races. And again, you got Bitcoin total 2. You got a lot of weekly moving averages that are moving. So, these are just examples. But when you look at the market today, okay, T-Bone, Super Chat, can you explain how legacy through ETFs will affect market cycles moving forward? Okay, so let's pull up a Bitcoin chart and talk about it. So what's going to drive the next cycle? Well, what's going to drive it, right? Is it going to be, altcoins on ETH? Is it going to be altcoins on Bitcoin ordinals? How's that going to work? Okay. Legacy has to figure out how to make money outside the Magnificent Seven. That's Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple, Netflix, etc. Right? How do they make money? How can they give their portfolio a kicker? Well, they got to allocate 5% to Bitcoin. They got to allocate money somewhere. Now, forward-looking market cycles, right? The typical cycle in Bitcoin is that they rally it into the halving and then they drop it hard. That may be the case, but you have to remember how legacy players think. Legacy players are so, look, it's just pull up S&P. Legacy players are so used to just BTFD, right? If you look at the weekly chart, yes, stocks did get hammered on this tightening cycle, right? But generally speaking, in S&P, every time it gets smacked, you're paid to buy the dip. You're paid to buy the COVID dip. You know, you're paid to buy the Greece dips, which you can't even see anymore in 2011, right? So crypto down 20%, legacy is going to go, oh, excellent, right? Now, I don't know if it's going to limit dips, but it's going to bring a real bid in, right? Oh, that's also from the legacy public. Because I mean, like, look at the approval rating on the current leadership in this country. I mean, people are not stupid. So legacy, how it moves the next cycle may not be led by poo coins. I mean, it may be in Solana and Bitcoin ordinals. You know, there may be a ton of money to be there, but the cycle is going to be driven, I think, by the Bitcoins, Web3, and a crypto AI tie-in that has really yet to be fully developed. In other words, legacy was like, oh, well, we made money in AI and stocks. Oh, look, we can do AI in crypto. And I got news for you, folks. Do not underestimate the ability of legacy players to come in and figure out crypto. Like, there's a coin, right? There's a meme coin attached to a former president, right? And that coin has been moving. And fans of that coin are figuring out how to go from Coinbase to MetaMask to the coin of their choice that's affiliated with this former leader. That's what's going to drive crypto. People going, you know what? I'm motivated to figure this out. Chris says, what? We have leadership? Mo Money says, hit the like button. Yes. Mo Money is right. Hit the like button. Go in Patreon. Support the channel. You support me, I'll support you, right? I will keep you up to date. Okay, let's talk about Rune. Oh my God. The box of chocolates under the bed, right? The cross-chain trading and DeFi. Now, can you get a dip in Rune? Yes. Will people buy the dip? Wow, I hope so. Let me see if I can get DeMark work up on this. I understanding that there's something cocoa or cacao that is better than Rune in terms of its experience and potentially its possible upside. But people, I mean, you know, I was into Rune for the longest time and I missed it. Like, you know, it's just took off. I mean, it went from 50 cents to $5. Trying to pull it up here. Now, the question is, will there be a dip? Okay. So here's a smart DeMark moving average. Okay. Meaning it's not a particular day. It's just a moving average that just figures out what the right time frame is. Notice how they're doing a green candle there after a 9 top. So the 13 and the 9 means this was definitely overbaked. Okay. But I'm looking at this 90-minute chart. So there's your 13 bottom, and there's people reacting. So at the tactical level, when something goes down far enough over, say, a period of days, this is another thing I haven't really talked about because I can't really quantify it. People will sit and look. I think hedge funds are going to look at top performing coins. You know, and again, I'm not sure how much upside's left in Rune. The trade may be done. But they're going to only look at the dip for so many days. And if they don't get a big dip, they're going to come in buying it. Okay, Andre was asking about Gala. Let me help you out, bro. Okay, so Gala on the 90-minute chart, nothing particularly exciting. Okay, now Gala on the weekly chart, and I think my advice on stuff like this is to just hodl it, right? Here was the 9 bottom, right? And there's resistance at 0.0289, but it's not going down, right? It's not backing off. you know, if you look at Gala on these smart DeMark moving averages, okay, so Gala, you know, here's a 9 top, here's the 13 top, here's resistance. So, you know, it comes up here and it comes off. So you're having an organic correction in Gala. You know, would I be FOMOing into Gala below resistance? No. But look how this moving average is holding. You know, how many days do you get for dips? Here you got 1, 2, 3 days, boom. Here you got 1 day, boom. 1 day, boom. You get 1, you get maybe 2 or 3 days. Remember, hedge funds are on the clock, right? And, you know, if you were hodling Gala, I would make them wash you out before I got out. Because if they turn around in the face of this down signal and turn around and blow through this resistance, that's meaningful. Tactically, this is overbaked. Tactically, a lot of things are overbaked, right? And I'm looking for signals on a 90-minute chart to tell me when these corrections are over. Right now in Gala, I don't see it at this moment, right? There's no DeMark work here that would lead me to believe, you know, maybe there is at the end of today, right? Again, hedge funds are only going to look at dips for so many days before they get in. That's my thesis. Okay, 23 wants me to do Jasmy. Okay, so I think all these coins are in the same spot. I think with Jasmy, the previous fourth. So what's the previous fourth? The previous fourth is Elliott Wave jargon, okay, for when the give up trade started. Now, Jasmy has not been able to, even if it's a single print, has not been able to take out the previous fourth. Now, when it does, you've got confirmation that the downtrend is over. This is the 90-minute chart. Okay, so again, not a lot of shelf life on this. But if you look at the weekly chart, right, these DeMark counts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually, if it's going to go to 9 and there's going to be 5 more up weeks, the dip is going to be on the 4. That's when the dip's going to be, and that's when you got the dip in Jasmy. And if Jasmy managed to, you know, hold in, everyone's like, oh, it's all the way up, it's all the way down. But really, this whole everything is unchanged for the week. And probably is going to wind up unchanged for the week, you know, or up because hedge funds come in an illiquid market, or somebody comes in and forces the hedge fund in, like, you know, that would be like a Galaxy style move. Like they know everyone needs to buy it and they come in on an illiquid Thanksgiving market and ram it higher and get everybody FOMOing in. So again, my thinking on Jasmy is the same. I don't see a reason to get out. If anything, I see a reason to get in. Okay, T-Bone, I like this. Crypto higher for longer. That's what they say about interest rates. It's kind of funny. Okay, it's kind of funny. Right. All right. Somebody was asking about synthetics and what DeFi coin I liked. Okay, so it is not an original idea. I saw this somewhere else, but I don't know. Something like synthetics has been dead for, I don't know, 800 days. You know, it's been dead since 2021. Now, on a weekly chart, you just had like a 13 top, which is kind of weird because it was in a range, right? Synthetics kind of mooned, but then came off. You know, do I like DeFi? You know what I like? And again, I haven't done the full, you know, the full research on it. I like Wall Street on the blockchain. Citibank's laying a lot of people off. You know, it's kind of sad because when these Wall Street firms let people go, they do it all at once. So where do these people go unless they're superstars? So synthetics, toppy, may have 2 more up days. But again, how many down days do you get? Down day, rally, down day, rally, right? Down day, rally, right? 2 down days, rally. They're not giving you a lot of chance to get in. So even though it looks like law on a daily And it may not look so good on the weekly either, right? You have a 13 top, but they ignored it. So, I like Wall Street on the blockchain. Okay. Okay. So Michael is asking about the coin we were talking about earlier. I'm sort of hesitant to talk about it, on a social media platform, but I'll do it for you. So, when you get these square consolidation phases, which is what you had here, I call this the Pepe formation. This thing could become money. Now, this looks pretty overbaked, right? Like a lot of people FOMO'd in. I'm not sure how much farther the current administration's approval rating can drop. But, there's always dips in those kind of coins. There's always dips. Now, how much time do you have to take advantage of those dips in those meme coins? I don't know. But obviously, the thing's going up and going sideways, going up and going sideways. And as long as you're seeing that, then you got to get in on the dips, right? Because these guys, the community that likes that is going to figure out how to get into crypto. I mean, you figured out how to get into crypto. I figured out how to get into crypto. Why would these guys not figure it out? It's the ultimate protest. It's the ultimate protest. Pancakes and peanut butter is here, right? Joseph, yes, 73 watching, but we are getting good views after the fact. Okay, AGIX. Okay. Okay, weekly charts not showing any signs of a top. Okay, you have a 9 bottom on a 90-minute chart. It will be interesting to see a week from now if this thing was actually able to recover, make a rounding bottom, and go back up. Are they going to go after Web3? Now, here's why it's soft, right? You get these 13 tops, you get these blow-off tops, and then it has to come off and correct. But that's okay. That's okay. Because again, just remember this. This is a good case study. If you get a 13 top, it should go down. If you get a 13 top and it doesn't go down, that is a signal. That is proof that there's buyers out there who are caught without it. Caught without what? Everything. Everything. Right? Decentralized AI plays are out there. I like AGIX. This is a nice rally off a DeMark signal. I was actually surprised it got all the way down to 16 cents. But again, NVIDIA, which is going to get chased by, not so smart money in retail, right? They go, oh, damn, I missed the dip. I got to get in. This is where you got to get in. This is where you got to get in. Right? Okay. I don't know. There's somebody in here asking for Bitcoin. I don't know if that's because they're in need, but obviously don't click on any links. Okay, let's sum it up. Tactical buy signals to try to get in on weekly trends that are only beginning. 42K is Bitcoin. 42K in Bitcoin is possible between now and December 10th. If I'm wrong about that, good, which means you got more time to buy it, right? Because the dollar is going down, right? Equities are in a late stage of a rally where crypto is in an early stage. So if they want to give you a dip, great. My sense is they have to bid it up to 42K before it turns around and dips. Because a lot of times when everybody, including hedge funds, has to FOMO in at the top, that's when you get the drop. A lot of people looking for the drop now. If they don't get it, that's what's going to drive Bitcoin to 42K. That's what creates the FOMO. Oh my God, I missed another dip. Like you can miss the first dip, but you can't miss another one. Okay. So crypto crazy. I hope everyone has a great holiday in the United States. And whether you're in the United States or not, know this. I appreciate your business in Patreon, and I appreciate your viewership on YouTube. We will see you next time.